Hello and welcome to the first episode of Oracle of Seasons and it presents Speedrun tutorial. Oracle of Seasons is a Legend of Zelda game, part of the Oracle series, which consists of Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. There's quite a difference between the two games, even though they use the same engine, especially in the speedrun. While Ages has been known in the speedrun community for its glitches, including skipping dungeons or even skipping essences as a whole, Seasons has remained free of big sequence breaks up until now. So, this tutorial is made to help new players get through the game, and also to point out some of the less obvious frame savers that you are most likely to miss while watching a run. First of all, you may notice that there was some text at the starting screen that's in Japanese. That's because this is the Japanese version. The Japanese version is the fastest version of this game. Japanese text is in general shorter, any save and quits you do are faster, and there's also a small glitch on a Miniboss you can do later in the game, but we'll explain that when we get there. The English version therefore loses a few minutes over the Japanese version. However, there's also a small advantage to the English version, and that is in the final fight on the final phase of the final boss. It's a little bit easier because the boss doesn't have as much health. You only need 6 attacks instead of 8 to kill him. So take that into consideration if you're having a lot of trouble with it, but in general, Japanese version is the way to go. So this is a Game Boy Color game, so you can play it on your Game Boy, you can play it on any of the official consoles like the Game Boy Player for the GameCube or your 3DS with Virtual Console. But it is also allowed to run this game on emulator. In the speedrunning community, we allow 3 emulators for this game, which are BGB, Bizog, and Combate. Bizog is pretty resource intensive and it's an extension of Combate, so it is advised to not use Bizog unless you have a good computer, if your computer can handle it. Otherwise, choose for a BGB or a Combate. Well, that's it for an introduction, so let's get into the game. This is your introduction screen, your file selection screen. 3 files. First option is copy. You can copy a file if you need to. Especially if you're on console, it can be useful, so you can make extra saves. Second option, you can delete files. So, for this game, you want to use your first file slot in general, because every time you reset your game, your cursor will be automatically put on the first slot. So, on the character naming screen, you can name your character whatever you like. In this game, it doesn't really matter how long your name is. The text goes pretty fast, so you won't really save any time with a one character name. You can always do it, there's no problem with it. And there's also this screen with the numbers. This is your selection of text speed. Set it to 5 so the text goes the fastest. And this is also where your timer is gonna start as soon as you select your text speed. So here we go. Here we have the introduction. And also a text box, which I'm gonna tell you something interesting about this. You don't actually have to press A or B to close it. You can press any button you want. You can even press select if you want. Or even a directional input. That's really interesting because the last text box of every sequence of text boxes you can close with any input you want, and it can be really useful sometimes. So you start off here at the camp with Din and her comrade. You have to talk to every one of them once. Especially Impa has the longest text box. Make sure you remember that. Try to also follow this path, the shortest path. Talk to the drunk guy with the tin can, Impa, the tambourine, guitar, and the other drunk guy. You can either choose to do the guitar guy or the drunk guy first, that's personal preference. And then you can talk to Din, the girl on the tree stump, the Oracle of Seasons. You have this picture, sliding picture, and after it stops, you can actually close it faster than it would close automatically. So make sure you mash your keys there, your A and B buttons. So yeah, this game is a lot about mashing, especially at the start. You want to mash through the text as fast as possible in order to get the fastest time, of course. Now we just have to wait until the introduction is over. The introduction is about 2.5 minutes, then you can actually move. I'm actually gonna fast forward this a little bit. We have some more text. And where Din gets captured by Onyx. And that's the story basically. Din gets captured by Onyx and you are destined to save her. A side effect of Din being captured is that the seasons go out of whack and the Temple of Seasons succumbs to the underground, which is this cutscene. So after that you wake up here, a little bit off from where you were earlier, a few tiles south. Nimpa tells you to go to the Mecha Tree, but we cannot get to the Mecha Tree yet. First of all, you can move, and you have this grass. Grass slows you down, don't walk into the grass unless you have to. You can cut this corner here in order to avoid being slowed down. So the Mecha Tree is to the right, but we're going to the left first, to the beach, because we need a wooden sword. And it happens to be at the beach. Here are those Octoroks, they can be in your way. Not much you can do about them, their position is random every time. Nearest the Hero's Cave, your first mini dungeon I guess. Push the block and go up. Especially watch your movement here, you want to cut these corners in order to actually move fast, but don't fall into the pit. Also note that once you go under a pit, it's easier. You have a lot more space to cut the pit off. But if you go over it, there is not a lot of space. If you go a little bit too low, you fall in the pit. So you want to avoid that, especially on the ones where you go above the pit. You have to be careful. You can avoid enemies, those are little gels. When they jump on you, they slow you down, and you cannot open the chest. So this is also the point where you will do your first save and quit. To open the save and quit menu, you press start and select. And you have 3 options, continue, save and continue, and save and quit. Since you have to press down twice to get to save and quit, it's generally faster to go down once to save and continue, and actually reset by pressing all 4 buttons at the same time. A, B, start and select. And after you do that, you mash through the intro with start and A. You need start in order to get through the introduction screen, and A helps to get through the file selection screen. Again, you can push this from below if you prefer. It's a little bit easier, because sometimes when you approach the block, you can start clipping into it, and you're not pushing the block then. So you can push that one from below. So over here we have a button, press the button, and a lot of little gels. This gel can be in your way, like he was there. When he's right at the edge of this corner, you cannot really pass him. But like that, you can actually push him into the pit. So I'm gonna hopefully show that in action. He's not jumping. Going back. That bastard. And press the button. He's not jumping. Oh well. Whatever. So, you find the chest and you have your sword. When you have your sword, you can make your way back to the Mecha Tree in the town, which we haven't seen yet, but we're coming up to that. With the sword, you can kill enemies. And an important thing, nice, a heart. That stops beeping. The beeping is really annoying, actually. It's really important is you can kill those enemies and you can get rupees from them, and you'll need them maybe later. But first, when you enter the town, there's a random season in this town. It randomly changes to one of the 4 seasons. If you get winter, like this, it's advised to just go back and try to change it to a different season like summer. Because in winter there are certain snow heaps that block your path. And there's one really obnoxious one, which is over here. You cannot pass here if you have winter, so you have to go all the way south of this shop, the ring shop, in order to pass through to the Meku tree. So you come up here to the gate and you slash your sword to open it, and then you arrive at the Meku tree. To wake the Meku tree, you have to slash that bubble of him. You can do that several ways when you enter. Most general ways, move a little bit to the side and start slashing. You can also just stay in the middle and charge the spin slash, or charge to the slash to the side. That's all personal preference. So you want to mash until you get this option. And this is a yes no one option if you understand what the quest is that you are sent upon. You don't want to select the first option, but I'm gonna do that anyway in order to show you some of the cues you can see when this text box is coming. So you have this red text and then another red text. That's right before the text pops up. So that's when you want to stop mashing A and B, which you normally would do, and you can start mashing B only, because when you press B, it will automatically move to the right option. So you can proceed the story. Now you have this key. This key will usually drop on the right side because you will move a little bit to the left. If you stay in the middle, however, and for example use a spin slash or a normal slash to pop the bottle, the key will drop on the left side. But there's no difference at all. So now that you got the key to the first dungeon, you can go back to where we met in, because it's really close by there. Make sure you move optimally. Here you have a lot of grass again. You can cut this corner a little bit to avoid a lot of the grass and just move through those styles. Cut the bush. You can keep your sword charged if you want or not to cut the second bush. That's personal preference. And here we have the first dungeon. Every dungeon starts with a text box telling what level it is. So if you're like me at the moment and you have lost a lot of hearts on the way here, in this bush there's always a fairy. This fairy restores 7 hearts of health. You only have 3, so it will max you out. You want to push the top right block and move right. There are 4 stalfos in this room. You want to kill them all in order for a key to drop. And then go back to the other side where there was a key door. And surprisingly, it turns into a very similar room. Except there drops a chest with the map in it, so you don't have to open it. You want to watch out for this soul. That soul tends to be in your way. If you're not fully against this wall, if you're in the middle, he's gonna hit you. So make sure you, when you walk up from this side, or if you walk up from this side, that you stay close to this wall. Then once you get close to the minecart, you want to move a little bit right, because otherwise you won't jump into the minecart. Minecarts are pretty fun. You can just do whatever you want in them. You can slash keys, they can drop items, you might be able to grab them sometimes. We have a lever, you can hit it from pretty far away, like over here. Then you go back to the other way. This is the part where you can kill a lot of keys. And hopefully get some rupee drops, because you will need about 10 rupees. Especially this room. In this room you want to kill a lot of keys, because otherwise they are gonna be in your way when you want to grab that chest. This chest contains 10 bombs, which you will need later. Pretty soon actually. Again, if they are in your way, just slash them. Here you have a blade trap. This one will chase you around when he sees you. And he keeps going until he hits a wall. So you want to make sure you're a little bit to the right in order that the blade trap can see you. So he immediately moves up when he sees you, and you can just move straight down and around. Another rupee, that's nice. So we have this bombed wall here. You can start picking up your bomb on this screen in order for it to blow on time. Release it about here. This is the room with a lot of traps, a lot of blade traps. So in order for the fastest way, these traps move really slow. We're gonna do some damage boost through them, so you're gonna move straight up through everything. And that's why you also want to have at least 2 hearts or more, so you can actually survive all those hits. And then you come up to this one. This one you're gonna avoid because it doesn't take much time, and you can charge your sword in the meantime in order to cut this bush, which conveniently holds a fairy, which is really useful. I'm gonna make a save state here because this is the mini boss. And that's the mini boss. So let me explain. When you first walk in, you want to grab a bomb and hold up left. Then when the text box ends, you throw the bomb to the left and deliver 1 slash, so the bomb explodes in the blue guy's face. The bomb does 2 slashes worth of damage, and you need a total of 8. So yeah, come in, drop the bomb, 1 slash, and get him stuck in the corner, hopefully. If you're too slow, he will start throwing his boomerang over to his brother. So yeah, 1 slash. Sometimes you get a double hit, which is really useful. That means you only have to do 3 more slashes up to the blue guy. Also note that I did hit the red guy once, and it didn't count. That's because they have separate health pools. So you want to focus one of the brothers down, and it's really convenient to hit the blue one, because he generally gets stuck in this corner if you don't move too far to the left. So yeah, that's over, you can continue now. Make sure you go down pretty late here so the blade trap doesn't see you earlier and you get hit. You can push this block up. Here you have a transition downstairs, and it's a fade-in transition, and those fade-in transitions are really useful to open up your inventory and do your equips. In this case, you want to unequip the bomb so you can equip the seed satchel there. The seed satchel contains ember seeds, and ember seeds can be used to light stuff up, light stuff on fire. So once you grab that, you can go back. You can also do that inventory on the fade-in when you go out if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's a 1 frame difference, but it's also depending on your reaction time on closing the inventory and stuff, so don't worry too much about that. So go back into the portal, and you don't actually warp to the start, but you don't warp over here in the room with the 4 souls. Let me kill them all so they aren't in the way. You want to go up to the left here, light those torches, and get your sword out because there are 3 moblins here with boomerangs. They take 2 hits to kill, but you have spin slashes which deal double damage, so you can use that to your advantage. And then you find the boss key. Again, you want to save and quit. Open the save quit menu with select and start. Then select the second option, save and continue, and reset the game by pressing all 4 buttons at once. And then mash with start and A. Now that you're back, you want to make sure you have enough health for the boss coming up. And generally speaking, you want to have at least 2 hearts or more. So in this case I have 1.5 hearts, so I want to grab the fairy. Push the block again and go again right. Because now there were these torches here. Kill them if they are in the way, and you can light them to open up the way. So in the next 2 rooms there are these Floormasters, or hands. More oftenly called, because they look like hands. These hands take 3 hits to kill, and they are pretty annoying in that if they grab you, you get warped back to the start. So you want to avoid that at all costs. The interesting thing about them is that they don't spawn randomly, they spawn in the direction you move. So if I move right, they spawn right. If I move left, they spawn left. If I move up, they spawn up. And also the diagonals, they work also. Let me kill them actually, I need a little bit of space for the next room. Because in the next room they are not as friendly as in this room. In this room you can basically follow the optimal path without any trouble. But in the next room, and I'm gonna make a little save state, if you move like normal, this Wallmaster will spawn and he will get in your way. You can slash them, and sometimes you get lucky that the third one doesn't get in your way, and you can just move into the boss room. But what you also can do is you can manipulate him to spawn out of your way like that. You can move past him and move into the boss room without any trouble at all. So the trick is you want to look at this line between the two blocks. Once you pass that, you want to hold down with your right movement in order to manipulate to spawn him to the bottom right. So you can pass him. Because if you walk straight, nothing happens. If you press down, he will spawn down there. If you're too scared that you're gonna get grabbed if you're too close, you can also actually change that input to a left input or a down input, single down, if you prefer. I think left is usually the easiest one if you don't want to have any risks. So once you get to that divider line between the fourth and the fifth block, over here, you want to manipulate him down or left or down right. Down right is generally the fastest because you don't lose your right movement speed, so that's what you want to watch out for in this room. Let me kill them actually so I can make a perfect save state. So here is the boss. The boss is Aquamentus. You may know him from Zelda 1. The dragon with a unicorn horn on his head. And that unicorn horn on his head is his weak point, so that's what you want to attack. So as you can see, he can charge you, and it's pretty random. You cannot influence that by anything other than the RNG. So in this case, he charged a lot. And you want to avoid the third charge. But let's go back and actually do this fight optimally. So you want to come in and charge your sword in order to get the spin slash off straight away. When he's down, splash, and try to get at least one, hopefully two slashes in. If he charges you, there's nothing you can do about it. Just keep going. This time I got 4 in. You want to have a total of 10 hits in, and remember that spin slashes count for 2 hits. So I'm at 7 right now, and he should be down. Now, or like that. So if I go in now again, he will charge again because RNG works very peculiar in this case. RNG is a pretty static value which only changes by very specific things, including sword slashes. So I'm gonna do some sword slashes in order to change this RNG a bit and hopefully get a better pattern to show how it's supposed to go. Like if he doesn't charge, he will start moving towards you and shoot those beams, those rings. And that's the pattern you want actually, so you can get a lot of slashes in as fast as possible. That's the same RNG actually. Oops. So yeah, when you go in, keep your sword charged. 1, 2, 3. Charge your sword. 1, 2, 3. That's stupid. Oh well, we'll continue on. So that can always happen, you have to deal with it. Nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. Sometimes he charges twice, that's really unfortunate. You can't actually reach that in time. And he's also blocked by his huge body, of course. So yeah, and there we go. The heart container will always spawn in the middle of the room, so you can start positioning yourself about. You can check the door if you're unsure about the height of the door. So you're on the little bit on the right side of the heart piece, and you can grab it immediately and go to the victory room, where you are gonna get your first essence of nature, which is the fertile soil. In total there are 8 essences you have to get in order to open up the final dungeon, which is not that impressive, spoiler, but apart from that, this is the end of the first part of this tutorial. Make sure to stay tuned, watch the other episodes in order to find out how to get along from here. and I'll see you soon.